Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Khantehnt.
Khantehnt!
We're here to talk about a show. You know it, you love it, Muno na Nana, Talentless Nana. But first, don't forget to go over to our Subscribe Star page and buy those bonus episodes. Most recently, Urusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer, directed by Mamoru Oshii. And what a time that is.
And what a time this is to be alive, where anime is good somehow.
Yeah.
We watched The Day I Became God, and that was good. And we watched Talentless Nana, and this is also good. What's going on?
Khantehnt!
なぜ僕は今からこの子に殺されなければならないのか
So, as you said, this show's actually good. Imagine that.
You were big into this back at the season start, I think.
Watch our seasonal podcast, yes.
I think this was your favorite first episode of them all. You had already watched 3, yeah.
That's right, that's right.
I had only watched the first one. I was shocked by the change in the first episode, which if you haven't seen it yet...
Spoilers, but here it comes.
The idea is that there's this school with all these kids who have superpowers. Everybody's got a superpower. She's psychic. Mm-hmm. Or is she? Turns out, no. She's actually a psycho who's just here to murder everybody else. And it's awesome. Her plan... kill all these superpowered kids before they can destroy the world, because that's what they are just inclined to do. They did it once before, people with superpowers. Destroyed most of the world. I'm a little confused about one aspect of this show's premise, which is that supposedly the people with superpowers went to war with humanity. Humanity won. And now they're trying to just eliminate all people with superpowers so that they're all gone. There's no threat of them ever being a problem again. Why didn't they just wipe them all out if they won the war anyway?
Well, here's how I understand it. I mean, nobody intentionally created the talented, as they're called in this show. They just emerged out of humanity. So I think what we've got now is a worldwide system, or at least Japan, where all the talented kids were born, as in kids with superpowers. They still appear. So there was a war. That they're new kids. I think that these are just new kids are born and they have powers, and their parents don't intentionally give them to them or anything. This is just a thing that genetically is happening with humans now. And when they're born, the kids are told, we're going to send you off to a special school to train you to fight the enemies of humanity that caused these wars before. In reality, the kids with superpowers are the enemies of humanity that they need to be eliminated.
Are kids with do superpowers not manifest until they're a little older or something? Why don't they just euthanize them as babies?
I think it's definitely said that they don't know that they have powers until they get a little older, and they mature and change and grow as they get older. So it's got to be something like that.
Powers get stronger if they practice them enough. It seems to be a rule. But yeah, so basically it's a secret agent story to some degree, mixed with there's a bit of a Death Note Code Geass kind of vibe.
I was gonna say, the show starts off as My Hero Academia. It immediately transitions into Death Note. And I fucking love Death Note, and I love to see My Hero Academia get dunked on. So it's very satisfying to watch.
It's a really fun premise, and right away, so the first episode, she knocks the guy off a cliff.
I've got it all tabulated, which powers she deals with at the time. Power Canceller, main character Deku equivalent guy. Yes, that's the first one she goes up against, and she does the reveal and pushes him off a fucking cliff, presumably dead.
Yeah, so presumably is a good word, because the way she kills him is kind of unclear. And in episode 2, that's also kind of the case, where we
don't see a body.
She freezes a guy under a lake, assumes that he is drowned and is dead. We're not sure, but it
all checks out logically. It's consistent with what she wants, but again, we don't see a body, so...
It was a little concerning for me at first, because I was because after episode 1, I was well, they're going to have to immediately kill another person in episode 2 for us to be sure that that's something that's going to keep happening. Mm-hmm. That does happen. Mm-hmm. I still wasn't sure if anybody was actually dead. Mm-hmm. But once we get to episode 4, I think, someone does, in fact, actually get killed.
Confirmed, yep.
So we know this is happening. We know she really is dangerous. People really be dying.
Yep.
And it's really exciting, because another concern I had going into episode 2 was that, how long will this be episodic? Will it be like, you know, always, each episode I kill another guy or fight another power? Like, when will we have to fight multiples? When will... All of that starts happening pretty quick because I hate to like skip over episode 2, but episode 3 is
don't worry.
really where this show starts to get moving because of the introduction of Best Boy.
Kyoya. The Immortal.
Kyoya the Immortal.
Indeed.
A rare husbando character who is absolutely delightful, who basically out detectives Nana. Like,
yeah, basically.
So the
Kira and L, they're right here in this show, baby. I love it.
And he is very L-like in that he's like, well...
I actually love the dynamic because he's suspicious of her, but just like Elle and Kira, they have like kind of a friendship brewing, but he really is like suspicious and it thinks she's the murderer. But we see his like cute side all the time, just like we did with Elle, and that really made him endearing.
Well, I think what makes this even what makes him an even more interesting character than Elle for me is that with Elle, he's like super genius guy who is just out to solve the case. There's not really much else to him. We don't know, like, Kyoya is a really serious guy. He's really serious about
we do
solving.
know that his sister got murdered, like here, and so he's here on the hunt. So he's got personal stakes, which is nice.
Yeah, and like, it's the fact that it's hard to tell where the mask begins and ends with him. Where with Nana, like, it's completely different. Her inner voice is like stone cold, I'm here on a mission, I'm just here to kill people.
I love it.
And the face she puts on is cutesy, dopey, I don't know what's going on. But with Kyoya...
She's got them all on her fucking strings. Oh my, it's so great. I fucking love it.
With Kyoya, the mask and the reality just kind of bleed into each other, where it's like on some level you're not sure, because he is legitimately like, kind of, I'm like trying not to say the word autistic too early in the video.
Just
I always try to
it's
take as long as but like...
He is that, he really is. He says like, I don't get how people act, I don't know.
He doesn't understand emotions and feelings and stuff. So to some degree, he is suspicious of her, wisely. Like, he thinks she's probably the one doing it.
Yeah.
But it's not clear if he's pretending to be friends with her. Like, he might legitimately be friends and still think that she might be the murderer. Like,
right.
It's just the way that he acts. It's there's so much sincerity in everything that he does that it's hard to tell if any of it is like plotting or scheming. Like with her, it's all a scheme. You know, it's all planned out. With him, it's like he's just kind of reacting to things as they go, but he's so observant that he'll immediately catch when something's wrong, you know? And like, she makes up lots of dumb stories. He usually sees through elements of it, but it's like, well, I don't know why she would lie. I don't know like what she is capable of. He still thinks that she can read minds. So like, there's a lot of good reasons that even though he's insanely suspicious of her, he doesn't really know what she's doing or how, and like, also is kind of friends with her for real, you know?
Yeah, I mean, she is his first friend. He's got the unique thing that he is the most, so all the other kids are incredibly naive and stupid, basically. He alone, so they were both like exchange students that arrived on the same day, so he's new to the scene as well. She is here on this cold-blooded mission, and he's the only, all the kids just trust her immediately. They're fully credulous. They have no doubt in their hearts, basically, except a couple people who, you know, come up and she deals with. But he alone, both has this thing where she is like his only friend because she's the only one who tolerates his annoying, you know, autistic presence. But also she is the prime suspect because she's always around when shit goes down, which is sloppy work on her part, but she is like a child, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that she's constantly beset by the chaos factor of this show of like all these people have superpowers. We don't know what they are, and like neither does she. So in certain moments, like she tries to figure out if Kyoya is, like what his superpower is by blowing him up, and it turns out that he's impervious, and he's like, well, like you came here. Like she comes to like try to like scream like, oh, are you okay? And he's like, well, you should know that I'm okay because you should be able to read my mind and know that I'm impervious, you know? And so like he gets her in a lot of those like just kind of closed loops like, I gotcha, but like all that proves is that you're suspicious.
And I love that there really is a lot of great logical crime writing because with a lot of these like detective mystery kind of shows, which this really is at the heart of it, you end up with a lot of like, you're thinking ahead of the characters. Are they going to be fully logical? Are they like, you know, as savvy readers and watchers, we know a lot of the things that a character could do. Like, for example, going off the immortality thing, I absolutely loved, this was one that I didn't actually even think of myself. It was that when the guy is talking to her about like, you know, I was blown up, you know, I'm suspicious of Nana, and she deduces these things, because again, the fact that she pretends to be a mind reader but is actually just like a detective is genius and lets us really immerse ourselves in her position and like follow her train of logic in a very satisfying way. But on that point, she later makes the point, because she has been able to sell the fact that she's a mind reader so successfully, that she convinces him that, look, Kyoya, I'm a mind reader. We all established this. We all know this is true. So how could I possibly try to murder you knowing that you were immortal? That wouldn't make any sense because you know I would fail. And because he believes that she is a mind reader who knew that, that works against the belief that she would in fact be the murderer. And we see him be like, oh, that's actually a really good point. And it's just, we know it's a house of cards. If he in fact finds out she's not in fact a mind reader, a lot of this will crumble. But because she's selling this premise so well, and they know that like only talented people come to the island, it must be true, and that works against the case. Brilliant.
But
brilliant.
he's not just suspicious of her. He's also suspicious of the island, the circumstance, the fact the faculty doesn't care. So like, if he were to flip the switch and think, okay, here's where I think this is going to go. I think that she's going to convince him that the two of them are against something else. Like,
yeah, sure.
Like, oh, the island is trying to kill us all, so let's all band together and fight the adult, or something like that.
In episode 3, she already does something very smart. Okay, she is now here. She's killing people. People are disappearing. That is suspicious. Things need to be done. So she does this really smart plan in episode 3 where, knowing that there's a healing person, I thought, oh my god, she's not, this is one of those things, I thought she's not going to be stupid enough while Kyoya is right there watching her like a hawk to go attempt to kill the healing dog girl right now. No, she's strategically using the fact that that girl has healing powers, attacks herself and wounds herself from behind in an improbable way that she could do it to herself by stabbing herself with a I don't know, an ice pick or something. She uses that event to throw off the trail from on top of her in just a perfectly logical, smart way, a smart play that is keeping the whole veil of ignorance really meshed around her. And the fact that that girl can heal means that she can get instantly healed from being attacked, so she'll survive.
But you know what I think is extremely important to point out that separates this show from others is that even then, it doesn't make Kyoya not suspicious.
No.
It's like he looks at that situation and even he thinks it's extremely weird. He's
What's
like,
the story?
Well, how did this happen?
An invisible invader who none of us have ever seen stabbed you in a small way one time and didn't finish the job and then disappeared and no one saw them? Of course that's suspicious. But the fact that Nana was hurt like adds credence to her story. The fact that Nana has consistently been playing up this innocent face adds credence to the story. Like, she couldn't do that to herself. Yes, she can, if you knew the true story behind her. It's all just so well set up. And like you were saying before, the fact that there is a true conspiracy at play on this island, that all the kids are set up to be murdered and picked off one by one. Like, the other kids are pretty reasonable to think that there's no way that's true. Like, the whole government wouldn't be conspiring. Alex Jones is a crazy man. There's no credence to any of this stuff. It's true. It's all real. Nana is here to murder all you guys, and they've concocted this whole story to do it. It's what's the grove that Alex Jones infiltrated? Cocaine Grove, Owl Grove, whatever it was. This island is the Grove where all the shit's going down. The human sacrifices are happening.
It's Epstein's Island.
It's Epstein's Island, basically. And the fact that, like, the conspiracy is on such a huge level makes Nana able to, like, act independently in a very believable way. So the premise was just really smartly constructed, and I fucking love it. And actually, and one other thing about that, I've been wondering, like, if the government is actually lying to Nana as well, you know? Like, how far is Nana being evil going to go? She has already killed people, so she's over the point of, like, shonen redemption for the most part. But it makes me wonder, like, for example, she has this contact with the government on her phone that they tell her about some of the people that are her targets, like what their potential kill count is going to be. I've been wondering if those numbers are manipulated, because, for example, the healing dog girl is said to have a projected kill count of 150,000. How? how does a healing dog girl...
Maybe she heals something that ends up doing a lot of damage or something.
Because the main guy, his power, on episode 1, the Deku guy, his power is to cancel other powers. Okay, that doesn't seem that threatening, but his kill count was like a bajillion or whatever, because like he was going to be a leader of the other mutants or something against them.
I'm really tempted to assume that all of these things are going to come back later, because like, again, with the fact that the first 2 deaths are suspicious that the person could be not dead. After somebody does die, we establish that there is necromancy in this show.
Oh yeah, there sure is. And time travel, that's an obstacle.
And we also know that Lick to Heal Girl is trying to bring people back to life. Like, she is practicing her technique all the time, because even though it shaves an indeterminate amount of her lifespan away every time she uses it, she does not care. She's like, I just want to be able to bring people back to life.
Yeah,
you know? So maybe she will get that power eventually. Maybe everybody will be brought back to life. Maybe all of the teens at the end will team up under the leadership of what's-his-name and defeat the world government. And then they will kill hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Because they deserve it. Everybody but the talent. I don't know. This is all like just... I like that there's all these weird leads that are buried in this show. Like,
me too.
Again, you know, making certain deaths ambiguous, but not other ones, but then raising the question of can dead come back to life? And it just constantly gets you thinking, like, it's unpredictable, which is unusual. This show seemed like it could be predictable. Thankfully, it's not.
And again, the main premise of Nana as a main character, Nana is like my favorite main character I've seen in so fucking long. She is a fucking powerless human. She's Mono no Nana, talentless Nana, basic bitch Nana, up against these like actual gods. And the only advantage she has is that they don't know what she's trying to do.
It's basically like if Batman had to kill the rest of the Justice League.
Which he has done on occasion in various stories and has contingency plans. And that's it. It's so fucking great. She's up against unbelievable
Batman
odds.
has contingency plans. She doesn't even know what these people can
She
do.
has to, she's like on site. It's like a Metal Gear story. She's on site. She has to accrue all the weapons there. We see her making her poison equipment on the island using like the berries and shit. She's strategizing, like she is like a dedicated like Batman level, no sleep, all work, focus on the task, do not be distracted. I'm here for one purpose alone. These freaks killed my parents. I will not allow humanity to be destroyed by them. Maybe I'm being manipulated by the government, doesn't matter. I've got a mission, I will carry out my mission. God, the commitment. And the other thing is, I mean, like I was saying before, it's just, this is kind of the ultimate underdog story. Because on the one hand, like we were saying, Nana is powerless against, I mean, just think about the powers she's going up against. Power Canceller, okay, she's got a unique advantage there. But time traveler, an immortal man, a healer who maybe can resurrect the dead, a future sight dude who can see the fucking future, and a necromancer. These are the kinds of foes that Nana has to go up against. These are unbelievable odds, but she figures out a way each time. And yes, she's an anti-hero. Some of these are not bad people. They are good people. But the threat they pose, you just got to say, okay, I'm evil while I watch this show. I'm just on board for the murder spree, and I want to see how she pulls it off, like Death Note,
or Code Geass for that matter. Yeah, I would say this is more like Geass because he's more on the ground in the thick of it, you know.
But it's so Death Note. I mean, you're right, but it's just that she's killing for the greater good, in like a twisted view of the world, even though we know, like when she's with the dog girl alone, she's like, if this girl knows anything, I'm gonna kill her right now. But she's a very good person, and she's never hurt anybody, and she just wants to help. So that's not good, it's for the greater good. But the thing is that it's an underdog story for Nana, but it's also an underdog story for the other kids, because the thing is, they have no idea what Nana is going to do to them. And again, they're not bad people.
Not even compared to her, but like they're underdogs because the entire
government
world wants them dead.
If Nana falls, another will take her place. I have no doubt. So these kids are fucked, and it's really dark and sad. But at the same time, you know, you just
That's why I'm so convinced they're gonna all team up at the end.
Do you think Nana will like become good and join them or something?
She'll have to change her perspective on how this all works somehow, I think.
Yeah.
Like realize, maybe there was like more to why the war happened or something, you know, like she'll find some reason. We gotta talk more about Future Sight Boy.
Sure, yeah.
I love this character because the idea is, okay, so he's this punk, like dyed hair, speaks in largely like slang, and it's just kind of like a dopey asshole. But like it's because he can see the future. When he goes to sleep, his camera like takes pictures of the future, and they always come true. And he's like, look, I've been defeated by this. Like, determinism is real. You can't change anything. If you try to do anything to make it not happen, it will just happen. Like, it automatically, so he's so resigned to it that the way he lives his life is just like, well, you know,
and who can
I
blame
know
him?
what's gonna happen.
How
Nothing
can
fucking
you blame
matters.
the guy? That's great writing for that character, yeah.
I thought it was really smart the way he was portrayed, and like that he is still like, he's still a fucking moron, but this power has given him an ability to where like, it doesn't matter that he's a moron. Like, again, he knows what's going to happen.
There's a picture of me tomorrow. I cannot be killed until tomorrow at 10 p.m. or whatever it is. Yeah.
So he just kind of like, and that's also his, like, he gets a picture that Nana is trying to strangle him. So he's like, well, I'm going to hang out with you all day and make sure we don't go to that storeroom. But, like, I know it's going to happen. Yeah. Like, he's trying to prevent it, but he knows it's going to happen. So he's just, like, trying to fuck with her for the time being, like, oh, well, I know you're going to kill me, so I'm going to fuck you. I'm going to
blackmail you. Be my girlfriend, bitch, for a couple of days.
And so she fucks with him by taking a fake future picture of her getting raped, and he's like, oh, well, then now I have to, I can't
I guess
wait.
I have to do it now,
But then it is foiled, and she beats him. And
well, the pieces behind that plan are why I think the writing of this show was so fucking good most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. It's that, I mean, it's very convenient that he says, hey, stay in my room tonight. Like, if she had just gone back to her room, she wouldn't have had the advantages that she's able to. But okay, it's written this way, that's fine. She hangs out in the room and she sees at night, hand on the camera, the 5 pictures get taken. And she looks through them, of course, because this is very unusual. She's learning about how the power works, and she finds some suspicious ones, including ones that are like incriminating and whatnot, and could be a big issue if he sees. So she gets rid of it. We see her get rid of it. But then the next day, we see him wake up and say, you know, my camera always takes 5 photos. There's only 4. I know you took it. And then he searches her and he finds the photo, and he finds one of her dead on the ground. And I'm thinking, I was thinking to myself, this is the writing thing. Oh, this stupid idiot Nana. Of course he knows how many pictures get taken. You have to like count the number, and you have to know, you have to replace that with something. And that's exactly what she had done. This was all planned out strategically. She had staged that photo. She knew that he would search her to find it, which of course he was. It's his power. He knows it better than anybody. And she's able to use that to manipulate the situation and beat him and get out of it successfully. Brilliantly done. And then, because this is where the writer can do whatever he wants. The actual incriminating photo after she's killed the guy is her standing over the dead body with the door open, and Kyoya and Healing Girl having discovered her with the dead body. So she knew, there is nothing I can do to avoid that situation, so I will arrive there and find a way to get out of it in that moment. And it was beautifully executed. Such good writing, such good usage of that character, and that leads into the whole arc next of, oh Christ, there's a fucking necromancer. That's unfortunate for my task here.
Which is also a great turnaround over the course of this episode, where it's, I guess you'll have already seen it, so there's no need not to spoil, but spoilers. They introduce a necromancer kid and the like tomboy girl who's in love with him, and then it turns out actually he's dead, she's the necromancer, and she's fucking nuts.
She's insane.
And her whole reveal scene is great, super entertaining. She's the right kind of crazy. And I don't remember how it ends exactly, but the episode ended on a cliffhanger that made me really want to watch the next one, and I'm trying to remember what exactly hit.
It was just like
She does not get out of the necromancer situation by the end of episode 6.
Nana, actually, she just confesses. Like, the girl's got her pinned down under the corpse she's controlling, and Nana just says, like, yeah, I killed them all, and, like, I'm gonna kill you too, or something like that. So, like, we just don't know how that's gonna resolve at all. But, I mean, yeah, that whole episode was great, and all the logic made sense. But what a fucking nightmare for Nana to have to deal with these ridiculously unfortunate powers. So all that is great. Zombie Girl's great. I've been loving all the little episodic battles. I hope that we see more of those in more interesting, like, creative ways that Nana has to think her way out of, while Kyoya is there as, like, the big force trying to unravel the mystery. But what do you think, Digi? Are you at all concerned about, like, how this can really go? Like I was saying, the episodic stuff is good. I just don't know, given like the tone of the show being fairly happy-go-lucky, I can't see this getting like truly Death Note-y and like them really trying to like murder characters that we like. I think they're trying to keep Nana kind of nice. Like, who she killed so far? We've killed 2 characters who were nice, but like off screen, and the one on screen was like, you know, groping her and fucking with her and stuff, so that wasn't that bad.
They made it very clear, like, throughout that her intention to kill him went beyond merely the fact that he's talented.
In this case, yeah.
I really wanted this guy dead because he's a scumbag. But
do you think they'll have the courage to stick to this for the long term?
Well, what's great about the Necromancer battle is that she wants Nana dead.
Yeah.
She's crazy. I think we're gonna have more of that, where like more of the villains will be people who are, you know, who more want her dead or more like actively against, like, only for so long can this stay secret because A, a lot of people are dying / disappearing.
Yeah.
B, at some point, when she's killed enough of them, there will be too few left for her to hide in the group, you know, like for her to blend in. So like, I don't know how many kids are in the class, but we'll say probably like 25. If we've already killed 3 and probably this 4th one might be about to die, the Necromancer for all we know.
2 at once, possibly, yeah.
It's a lot to go through quickly. So like, what I'm interested in seeing is like, as the cast thins down, like all of them become more important. So, you know, who will be the important characters? Have we already met all the really important ones and everybody else is expendable? Or will we get more like, I'm expecting there to be at some point a more major arc where it takes more than a couple episodes to beat an enemy or something like that, or more subterfuge and collaboration and confusion and all that kind of shit.
I don't know who it is, but in the opening, I noticed like a guy with glasses and a suit who clearly isn't like a fellow student. So maybe like one of the teachers will get involved in like trying to unravel the mystery or something. I don't know. I'm not sure who that guy is exactly, but
there's a ton that can be done, especially because most of the characters' powers have not been revealed. So it's like,
yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, already with like, this show already does a thing where it tries to fuck with you by doing things like, okay, we know this kid's dead, and then necromancy shows up, and you're like, oh, fuck, like, you know.
Or Nana actually, she kills the kid, and then it turns out, oh shit, he was literally already dead, because the other girl was the necromancer, thus fucking up her plans because of the crazy powers that happen to be at work here.
So that allows the story to always have, you know, things it can pull out of its sleeve, and you go, oh shit, but it does make sense, you know, and like, that's a good thing.
Let's talk about this though, the fact that, and this is just, you know, I was reading, you know, threads online and stuff about people discussing the show, and the characters just, so far we've seen, and apparently this continues, they're just, I said naive before, but they are really, really stupid a lot of the time. Example, Future Sight guy had a picture of Nana pushing Nakajima, or whatever the first guy was, off the cliff. He had a picture. He knows that she's a murderer. He didn't tell a soul, and he didn't even make this like a dead man's chest or...
Nana's speculation on that was that because no one likes him, they wouldn't believe him.
Sure, and you know what? After he dies, Nana, I think that picture is found by the healing girl, so we get a little closure on that.
Oh yeah, that's right. She finds it, and then she was going to kill her over it, but she did not assume that it was her pushing him off.
Which was a nice moment, and it like not see once the guy's dead, she's able to convince Michiru that like, oh, well here's the thing, that guy always said that he told the future. Actually, his photos are just his dreams projected. Okay, so once he's dead, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, he knew she was a murderer before, or at least had a strong reason to be concerned of that. You'd think that he'd be a little more on guard, rather than have her literally watching over him while he sleeps. And yes, I know that he knew he would survive until the next day, because he already had the picture, so he's cocky because of that. But still, he knows she's like a murderer, and he chooses to like let her hang around and not tell anyone. And again, they are trying to cover their bases because he doesn't have any friends, so people don't trust him. That's all fine. But still, very lucky and very stupid character there. And beyond that, like when in the next episode, when that guy is found dead, and you know, our white hair Kyoya guy and the healing girl stumble upon that, they had already been to that guy's room, and just for the sake of the narrative, they happen to not find any of the incriminating photos. They only find the one fake photo of Nana getting strangled, and Nana herself says that was pure dumb luck. So there is some pretty sizable conveniences going on in the narrative, and I wish you could explain that. Nana could have tidied it up ahead of time. You could tighten those things up a little bit so I don't have to roll my eyes sometimes.
Maybe they wanted that to be there just so that you knew that she's not, like, I do like that Nana's not completely in control. Like,
Sure.
the powers add a lot to that. There's a great scene where when she's talking to Future Sight guy for the first time at a restaurant.
An udon restaurant. Or
yeah,
whatever,
and then all of a sudden, like, Kyoya, who shows up for the first time, just appears behind her and starts fucking with her hair. And, like, it was a great moment of, like, we have no idea what threat this could present. It's just the fact that somebody showed up behind her is already enough to be like, oh, fuck. Because, like, from her perspective, it's like, I'm in a constant fucking threat. Like, danger is all around me on all sides. I have no idea what these people can do. Like, was this guy invisible? Did he just literally appear beside me? I don't know. Like, you know, it's that level.
That's my point. I think that Nana has such a great situation for writing. She's up against these unbelievable foes who, this is very strategically written, that we don't know the powers of, and she has to find out. So much dramatic stuff can be done with that in the narrative. Like, there's the fire and ice guy. Notice how those guys are total jokes, because we know their power, they're boring, they don't matter. She can kill them anytime. They're a low priority threat, even though their powers are pretty scary if they ever used them seriously. But it's enough that she's up against these guys who can just reveal these powers and do crazy stuff that she doesn't expect. We don't need Nana to also just, like, luck her way into the top. That's my real point. I want things to be concise. I'm not expecting Nana to be a god, but when she literally says, whoa, it sure was lucky I didn't get exposed right now, that's when me being like, let's do as little of that as possible.
I agreed. Too much of that would definitely be a bad thing. But yeah, man, the first 6 episodes of this show were exciting and fun.
Yeah.
Constant new reveals. The characters are all kooky and crazy. Like, Necromancer Girl's whole backstory was fun and delightful.
Her childhood crush died, so she brought him to life and hangs out with him and pretends that he's still alive with, like, a split personality or something. Yeah. That's awesome.
It's like... shows like this are not usually this fun. Yeah. And it's exciting to watch one that is. And I've heard that this manga is good. Like, I've heard people
7 volumes and going strong, apparently, yeah.
So I hope it stays good. This is a fun show to watch and talk about. Like,
yeah.
I watched this when I was very tired and did not fall asleep. And that is more than I can say about
unlikely.
Most of the Khantehnt shows that we've watched. So... I hope it stays true all the way through.
I have heard one concerning thing, though. You know, I won't say any specifics, but in the little bit of looking around online for discussion, I've heard that, like, things get pulled back a little bit, and maybe not every character who we think is dead is going to stay dead forever or truly. And there's many ways that could happen. See, I haven't confirmed that. That was just a little bit of discussion, and I'm just saying, the more they do of that stuff, the more I'm going to be like, I don't know, are they really committing? We really got to stick to this thing. So just do less of that stuff and just stick with the fun, like, murder quest with Nana. I am fully on Nana's side. Kill them all, 1996.
Just watch. I'm going to kill them all.
Burn them to the ground, Nana. I'm with you.
We need some fucking AMVs of this show set to, like, all the school shooter anthems. Get the Tyler, the Creator, just watch, I'm gonna kill them all. Like,
it's time to get down with the sickness. Yeah. So, go check out Muno no Nana. I think we'll probably cover more of this because we've been having a great time doing it.
Yeah.
And you should also check out our bonus episodes, boys and girls, for $10 over on our Subscribe Star page. We just did Urusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer, a wonderful film, and you should listen to us talk about it. And beyond that, other stuff too.
Go to our channels in the description. Make sure you, if you yourself want to have a Khantehnt play at the end of the video, we sort them by how interesting your environment is when you do it, I guess.
We want people to submit clips of you going Khantehnt, letting the world know, letting your Khantehnt flag fly, doing as interesting a thing in the real life world as possible. Say you're going skydiving. Have somebody film you jumping out going Khantehnt.
And we'll put it right here. You can submit it either to the Khantehnt Twitter, or we now have a public Discord linked in the description where you can talk about the shows and fucking watch them together so that we can all build a happy Khantehnt community of people who watch shows in 4-episode chunks instead of every week.
And won't we all be happy to see that? All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on another episode of Khantehnt. And here's one of those end card things. Maybe we have a new one. Bye.
Content!